So we are 19 days out of the November elections. Can you give me a scenario of what you might see happening should we see a Harris-Walz administration, as opposed to what might happen when we see a Trump-Vance administration?
Yeah, I don't think it takes too much prognostication because we've really seen both already, right? If Harris and Walz are the next administration, we're going to get more of what we had for the last 4 years. That's what we should expect. And if there was going to be something different, you'd think they would have told us that, but they have not. In fact, they've specifically avoided getting into policies or giving any details. So what we should expect is 4 more years of what we had. And then if we get Trump again as a president, we get Trump and Vance. Well, we've already seen what a Trump presidency is like. And Trump and Vance have given very detailed explanations of what their priorities are and to some extent how they intend to achieve them. So again, I don't think it takes much prognostication, it's probably going to be another close election.
That's not good news.
Well, this goes part and parcel of where we're at culturally in terms of our politics. Most people vote the party line. And at the beginning of my book, I did 2 years research on this book. Even though I'm an expert on the topic, I did a lot of research. And although I have a lot of criticism for the Democratic Party and for the Biden-Harris administration, or is it the Harris-Biden administration? I don't know. But I have a lot of criticism, but all my criticism is backed up. I have the data. I've done the research. There's no histrionics. There's no exaggeration. If I'm leveling a criticism, that criticism is well supported. And I start the book by examining George Washington's farewell to the nation in 1796. Washington never gave a speech when he left the presidency, when he left government, but he did have it published. It was 26 pages. And he warned the country about what he saw as being the biggest potential threats to the nation down the road. The biggest threat that he mentioned in his farewell address was the two-party system, the rise of the two-party system, and in his words, the baneful effects of the spirit of party, which, if not kept to a warming fire, would alienate citizens against each other and lead to the destruction of our unity, which he said was the pillar, the edifice of our strength, of our liberty. And that's what's been happening. And if you're a Democrat and you live in a red area, you blame the Republicans. I live in DC. DC voted 92% for Joe Biden in 2020. I'm surrounded by Democrats, and what I see is most of the hatred and vitriol coming from the Democratic Party, who basically in 2016 threw a 4-year temper tantrum like a contumacious child who all of a sudden had to share a toy. One of the things I point out in my book is the Democrats at one point had a slogan of, when they go low, we go high. And it's easy to say that when you have complete power, right? Because at the time they controlled the executive branch, they controlled both houses of the legislature, and they controlled half the federal judiciary. So yeah, when they go low, we go high. Well, as soon as they lost the presidency and did not have complete control, their motto became, democracy sucks. We must do anything to undermine it, And so, that's kind of where I see where we're at. And, my hope is that in time, things calm down because the political rhetoric is much too high. I see it coming from the Democratic Party. Other people could argue differently, and maybe people have different experiences. But just look at all they've done to target Trump unlawfully. And I go through the entire litany of it in my book. I start with what I call the Russia collusion hoax coup, because that was more than a hoax. That was an attempted coup, probably the biggest attempted coup our nation has ever seen.